All right, so it's Elijah here with Black Conservative Republican, and I'm just here just to really, I know there's a lot of Black conservatives that are just asking the question like, how the hell could a Black person support Kamala Harris? Especially, I want to hit on a bit of the Black men. How could they support someone like Kamala Harris, someone who spent their entire career prosecuting Black men, putting them in jail for marijuana, and fighting to keep them in jail? And that's her entire career. And now California, she was DA for California, and California only has 6% blacks, okay? So it's not that many blacks. Okay, blacks are in Oakland, in LA, Long Beach, you know, scattered here and there, in Richmond and Sacramento and Concord. A few places blacks are out, but California's only 6% black. And those 6%, Kamala Harris was here to make sure that she got them 6% locked up in prison. Okay, that was her whole entire career. So how can a Black man support that? Okay, this is her whole entire career, locking up blacks, okay? And then on top of that, abortions, be a staunch supporter of abortion, which majority of those are millions of Black babies, okay, fetuses that are being slaughtered and sold, okay? It is an industry, a very large industry. It's a medical industry. You understand that the Black cells, okay, the Black gene, okay, is a very rich in melanin, carbon, and all these things that can produce, like I said, it put in the anti-aging creams and lotions, and even vaccines. Even the COVID vaccine had the stem cells of aborted Black babies. And it is a big, large medical industry. So how can a Black man get behind that? And same for a Black woman. I'm going to explain a little bit more of that. But the first thing you have to understand, all Black conservatives have to understand, those who are part of the Free North must understand that when slavery, that the Democratic platform is a mirror of the slave plantation. And so when you were on the slave plantation, that there was a very good relationship between the slave and the slave masters, okay? And because look, the slaves back then, they didn't pay rent, okay? They didn't pay rent. They didn't have to save up money to buy a house. They weren't buying the slave house, okay? They lived, okay? They didn't pay for that stuff. They didn't pay for food, okay? They were given food. They hadn't to pay for no food. And inside of a way, life was easier in the sense, yes, they were slaves. Yes, they were being used for merchandise. Yes, they were enriching the slave masters, okay? Enriching the slave masters, but they didn't have to work outside of whatever that their little task was, picking cotton and all that. They didn't have to work to pay bills and all that kind of stuff. The bills was paid, okay? Whatever, okay? And the relationship between the slave and slave masters was very good. All you have to do is look at some of the, go on YouTube and hear some of the interviews of actual slaves, and they will tell you how good the relationship was with their slave masters. They were very loyal to these slave masters and their families. They talk about how the slave master or whatever would, teach them how to ride horses, or, teach them to go hunting. And they did all this stuff together. Whites, the slave masters and the blacks, there was a loyalty among them. So if you were ever to be, escape and go to the Free North, you didn't have that. Okay, you was on your own. Okay, you had to go to work. You had to pay rent or mortgage or whatever it was, save up your money, work to buy a house, okay? You had to buy your house. You had to buy your food. You had to make sure that, you had to have a business. You had to have something to support yourself. And then on top of that, you probably had to pay taxes on top of that. But that's the reason why the Republican North, you had a lot of the blacks who were the first senators and all that, because even though the Republican North, the white folks there, didn't really give you a hand up or a handout or give you a free housing or give you free food, that what they did do was, if you did work hard, they will recognize that and act accordingly. So, the difference between those two worlds is existent today, even on the Democratic platform. Well, these people and the type of man that will vote for Kamala Harris probably had a very strong female figure, okay, inside of his life, because it was on the slave plantation. They did everything to demoralize and the male there, okay, by whipping them and all this kind of stuff. getting them out of the house, okay? And so you had that inside. Now you had the welfare system that started to peek its head inside the 50s and 60s, where a lot of these men now, their grandmothers, okay, were on welfare. They started getting these, and they started having more independence, right? And so a lot of these women, strong women, granny, were getting these government benefits, and these boys, who are now men, supporting Kamala Harris, seen their grannies run the household, okay? Saw their single mothers, okay, running the household because of welfare, because of that slave system, okay? And so welfare, they took that, and they still take it today as welfare, and these government systems, these programs, they take it today as the Democrats care about them. Now, would we, and we can say that maybe that they do, but why do they care about you? Because you're enriching them. It's a slave, same as on a slave plantation. Do you think that the slave master gave the slaves a house to live in and food to eat and make sure they were taken care of as far as having some adequate clothing because they cared so much? Yes, they did care so much, but as long as they were inside their slave position, continuing to enrich them. So it's the same here. They took welfare as being as Democrats care. They care for black people. Republicans don't care for black people. That's where you go to the free north. Well, just because someone's not giving me food stamps don't mean they don't care about me. And I don't really care if they care about me or not. I just want to have the opportunity to enrich myself and not enrich them. So anyway, so this is the type of man that will vote for Kamala Harris. They have a strong black female figure, or they had one. Just like my granny, she was a Democrat until I awakened her, you know, began to educate her. She was a Republican before she passed. And so these men have a strong figure. A lot of times if they're married, their wife is very, very strong. And when I say strong, I'm just talking about contentious, very rebellious, and they're the heads of the house. Do you understand? They're the heads of the house. They run things, okay? And when I say run things, I mean that they saw that there was no man in the house growing up as a single parent. And of course, the food stamps and stuff, you know, they said, okay, the government is helping my mama. You know, Republicans ain't done nothing for us, okay? But these food stamps and all this kind of stuff. Or they have very strong wives now who probably make quite a bit of money. And a lot of these women are very contentious. You can't tell them nothing. You go any of these Kamala Harris women, okay, black women, you see them with their fake hair, fake wigs on, with their fake eyelashes and fingernails, and they are out of control completely. No one can tell them what to do. You see them when they start running their mouth, they start getting angry, very bitter, okay? You see that spirit of anger come out through them when they start talking. They have no self-control whatsoever. Okay, they're very emotional in their responses. And then you also, those women are out of control in their eating too. You see a lot of them are out of shape, out of whack, overweight, okay? Or if they're in shape, you know, they so-called independent women, okay? And a lot of these men have learned from these strong, so-called strong mothers, grandmothers, and now they act like women. They're very emotional thinkers, very reflexive. You know, you say anything about racism, they start wanting to argue and fight like a lady. Okay, they have been influenced, they have a very strong female influence inside their life. These are the type of men, okay, that would vote for or support Kamala Harris. Okay, and like I said, it is a reflection of the slavery of the Democrat, or the plantation is now the Democrat platform. So please understand, when you do see these type of black people supporting Kamala Harris, you have to remember that the reason why Harriet Tubman had to go so many times, she had to try to convince and fight and argue with some of these slaves to be free. A lot of these people didn't want to be free. They had a comfortable life and they were used to, and they looked at their benefits as friendship between them and the slave master and their families, okay? So there were only a certain type of black who wanted to be free, who wanted to run away, who actually wanted to go to work and create a business and to do these things without the help of a slave master. Okay, so anyway, that's my view on it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below what you think about this commentary, and I'll see you in the next video.